Alright, glossary. To understand the rail system operates, it's important to recognize some of the generic terms and components specifically relating to railroads. The glossary and the dictionary relay terms components to you for the quick reference. Adhesion, coefficient, friction between the wheels of the rail, acceleration, retardation, air gauge, and instrument indication, air pressure usually expressed in pounds per square inch. Air pressure, air compressed into a smaller volume, thereby increasing into the pressure exerts the same pressure force on all surfaces of the container as expressed in the pounds per square inch. Amperage, fundamentally with the strength of the electrical current is measured. All automatic application cover the reducing pipe pressure with the automatic brake handle. Automatic application when they apply the brakes on all the cars, the locomotive, in a train, automatic brake valve and a manually operated valve with the locomotive cab that controls the train brakes, reduce the increase of the brake pressure. Air brake hose. A flexible connection located at each end of all the cars, locomotives. When the air hoses couple together, they become part of the continuous brake pipe. Train line from the one end of the train to the other. Angle cock, the manually operated device attached to the train at each end of the car with the locomotive that controls the flow of the air between the air each for the car and locomotive. The brake cylinder which is compressed the air acts on one piston with the transmissive force of the compressed air with the associated brake work. The brake cylinder, the lowest brake cylinder and pressure the generator with the minimum reduction is 10 psi. The quick service limited valve, the control valve, to ensure that this made the cylinder pressure exists for the set of the pursuit of the valve will ensures the sum of the braking force generated with the request for the engineer on initial of the 10 psi with the established for the brake cylinder. The brake cylinder BC, the pressure for the extract, only 2.5 type of the brake pipe reduction in brake bike reduced to the 90 to 80 psi was over the 2.5 to 10 psi reduction, approximately 25 psi brake cylinder pressure. Okay, the section pipe of the car with the locomotive with the running length of the car with the locomotive with the supply of the air reservoir of the control valves is so with the mean for the control of the car brakes, the locomotive engineer brake pipe gradient the pipe of the natural resistance of the air brake system piping together with leakage cover the pressure at the rear of the train with the lower than the head end. The gradient have a significant effect on the performance of the car control valve at the rear of the train. Brake pipe reduction, a reduction of the air hose of the brake pipe resulting in the brake pipe application through the train. Car equipment, all control valve of the reservoir, the retaining valve, the angle cocks hose of the occasional auxiliary equipment, such as the empty load of the equipment, the vent, the valve on the giving the car the charging pressure, air force in the brake pipe with each of the locomotive on the car. The train consists of the air allowed the car control valve with the ports and the passage, resulting in the build up of the air pressure for the car reserve. If the outputting of the manifold or the maintain with the pressure with the continue with the flow with it until all the parts are pressurized, charged at the same level. Circulated device opening of the braking electrical circuit automatically when the current exceeds the predetermined level. The control valve, a three-way valve in the locomotive of the cars with the charge of the reservoir with the control of application relief of the brakes in response to the change of the brake pipe pressure. Cut out cock, the manually operated device for stopping the flow of the air pressure from through the pipe of the car control valve. The side vented cut out cock will exhaust the air with the pressure of the component with this cut out. D. The diaphragm, a flexible rubber disc that is sealed on the outer edge of the separate two volumes of the air pressure. The increase of the pressure of the side of the diaphragm normally results in the movement of the other connecting valve. The valves generally control the opening or the closing of the ports of passage, resulting in the various braking conditions occur. Direct release, increasing the air pressure for the brake pipe with 1/2 to 2 psi above the pressure in the auxiliary reservoir will result in the full release of the brake and the most rate brakes equipment instead of the direct release, meaning in the one with the brake release. Once the brake release has been initiated, it cannot be stopped. Dynamic brake. Electrical means for the retarding the movement of the locomotive is done with the changing of the traction mounting of the generator is dissipating with the generated turn the resistor grids. Emergency application, the reduction of the brake pipe pressure will cover the quickest and the heaviest brake application from the non-controlled application that cannot be stopped once it's initiated. End of the train or EOT unit, mechanical instrument, either the end of the train to replace the use of the caboose. End of the train is provided with the radio operated electronic control over the brakes for the head end of the trail end of the tail end of the train. Equalization. The point at which two or more air pressures become the equilibrium connection between the volume with the different pressure they equalize at the intermediate pressure, equalizing reservoir pressure, the pressure expressed in pounds per square inch. Air in the equalizing reservoir and the locomotive, the V valve, regulating valve, the valve reduces the main reserve pressure for the determined amount of the fuel for the delivery to the equalizing reservoir. Brake pipe fuse, a strip of fusible metal allowed to be placed in series with the electrical circuit that is designed to melt and open in the circuit when they current exceed the predetermined level. Fuel circuit that make maximum braking that can be obtained with the normal without making an emergency application position with the automatic brake valve with the graduated application, the possible making a minimal reduction in the brake pipe pressure to apply. The brakes of various degree, the braking forces may be increased in the step of the full surface equalizing pressure. Graduated release. Relief of the brakes in step of the graduation generally will only passenger brake equipment is set for the brakes to be partially released. Independent brake valve, the manually operated valve of the locomotive cab of the engineers to control the locomotive brake regardless of the automatic brake valve handle. Position. In shot, once the emergency application, there's a rapidly initial brake cylinder pressure up to 15 psi set for the chute for the wheels, allow for the cars to bunch and helps to reduce the train running. Follow the in shot, there is a rapidly build up of the pressure from the full emergency level. Locomotive equipment, the compressor reservoir and brake valve, the control equipment, and all piping equipment making up the braking system of the locomotive brake valve, the control of the application release of the train brakes, magnetic valve. The valve operated electromagnetic that opens and closes the air gauge and held in one position. The magnet is energized, moved to the other position with the spring with the magnet is de-energized. The minimum reduction. Least amount of the brake pipe reduction that can be made resulting in the brake application of the position automatic brake valve causing the brake pipe to produce approximately 5 to 7 psi. Penalty application. The penalty application caused by a safety device which is automatically applied with the train brake that may be covered with a dead man panel overspeed. The train control system normally resolved with the full service application of the brakes. So this is a pressure maintaining system designed to overcome the normal brake pipe leakage, maintain with the brake pipe pressure the desired level to maintain the constant level of the brake pipe pressure for the normal curve during the service application made by the automatic brake valve during the release and charging conditions. Propagation. Serial action transmitting the braking application with the car to car through the train, such as in a quick service emergency relay. Device operated with electrical current with the automatic car with any number of the switch to open the code of the chain with electrical condition and any other circuits, or release the position automatic brake valve which allows the air pressure from the brake pipe to increase the recharge of the brake of the release of the train brakes, the reserve air tank container located with the car and locomotive used for the store pressurized air. Rigging and arrangement of the rod and lever pins in which to transmit the forces of them to the brake cylinder piston, the brake shoe, the rip wrap undulating. A segment of track that goes through a series of the hills, which result in the train operating over the many peaks and valleys. The locomotive just cresting one hill with the middle of the train goes down another, and the rear ascending another. Self-lapping, the ability to brake valve will automatically stop with increased degree for the air pressure according to the engine brake valve handle position. Service application, the reduction brake pipe pressure resulting in the controlled application of the automatic brakes. The slower application of the emergency pipe, the release at any time. Suppression and position automatic brake valve used to prevent and penalty application. Train line, a combination of the brake pipe flange and air hose when connected together with the train form a continuous pipe with the lead locomotive to tail and car. The continuous pipe is used with the transmission of the brake application release for the charging of the brake. The train line, term used to describe electrical circuit of the air system extended through the entire locomotive units consists. During transmission time, each control valve of the freight car has means of the sense of the reaction to the initial drop of the brake pipe made with the brake valve on the locomotive. This ensures the initial drop of the brake pressure is sent to the transmitted to each of the car and the train. The valve function is initial quick service. The UD or undesired emergency, a spontaneous emergency application with the brakes when not caused by the train operating condition with while in the train. It has many causes. Not all of them are known or understood. And that is the rest of the book for your Northfolk Southern Locomotive Engineering Training Handbook.